No, we just started recording. I'm going along with me as well, Master Nate. The previous, the previous match had a bunch of audio issues, so we'll have to redo that from replay instead of live cast. Anyway, this is match 2 of Uriel versus Myriad, aka Archon Odium. The map will be Green Tooth Jungle, standard victory point, control 500 points, fixed location, standard resources. Let's start the game.
Alright, today we're going back to Green Tooth Jungle, standard 2-player map, 2 victory points towards the south end of the map, 1 victory point between the 2 players on the north side.
That's the interesting part of this map, that there's a victory point between those 2 bases, and that those 2 bases are actually really close to each other. It's an interesting way of doing map design.
So, Archon Odium has chosen the Warp Spider Exarch today. He is moving out to grab positions while not macroing his second squad to be created. Uriel immediately starts by producing another Shooter Boy squad.
Very important to get those units out early, because you get a unit advantage, and Uriel immediately gets the second one. I think he had this queued up. And finally you see
he's on the ball.
Myriad getting a second Guardian squad. Which is probably, the reason for that is probably because he just lost all of his Banshee squads in the previous match, so Banshees aren't ideal. I think he noticed that as well. Small fight going on over this requisition. Shooter boys are moving away from the requisition point and moving back. I'm not sure what's going on here. I don't think any of them.
Spider Exarch is attacking the first Shooter Boy squad, while the second one comes up and puts down covering fire.
In melee,
are gonna back him up. Yeah, they're meleeing him. The other Slugger Boy squad is moving into flank from the north side.
Warp Spider Exarch teleported to the other shooter squad and engaging them in melee. Myriad immediately retreating his first Guardian squad as soon as they come in melee with the Sluggers. Second Guardian squad is here to back the rest up. And that's a very nice teleport to get that Warp Spider Exarch out of there, us to not get shot and retreat and die. Guardian squad is on low models though, only 2 models left, so that's going to bleed a bit, although the same damage has been done to Uriel. If not
Shooter
more.
Boy squad is heavily damaged, however, Shooter Boys are much cheaper than Guardians, am I right?
You are right, Elbow units are more expensive, but they're also more upgradable, and we see one of the upgrades rolling out on the second Guardian squad, which is the grenades, and basically more health and range damage is what that upgrade gives you.
The Orcs took this opportunity to push towards the eastern side of the map, War Boss moving forward, ignoring the combat, just to go cap a power node and requisition node to the far east side.
A very smart move, considering he won the battle anyway. He had the War Boss kept the rest of the map, so that makes it double the victory, because he has more map control, more resource income, and can more easily build units.
Alright. Archon Odium has managed to take the western side victory control point from the Orcs under their nose. The Shooter Boys had to fall back. They were outnumbered by the Guardians, and it looks like he is retreating all his units to move them together.
Those Shooter Boys retreated from nowhere, really. They retreated from this requisition point you see the Elder units moving up to now. But I'm not sure why he did
because he wanted to give them back their 5th model. They lost one of their guys.
Well, that's quite a... I'm not sure if that's worth it, the loss of territory, but...
Probably isn't, but that's what he went for, I can see.
We can see the Slugger Boys skirting around on the east side of the map here, or, well, the middle part of the map.
Archon Odium moving towards the southeast side in an attempt to follow up by capping his own power points. But looks like the Orcs had the same idea.
Let's see if
conflict.
He actually notices this. He does not yet, so he didn't fire on approach.
Guardians are now in melee. They're not going to do so well.
That was a very nice
He's
grenade.
pulling them
It
back.
took out some of his own models, but that squad is way too damaged to actually continue this unless he really wants to ghost cap this. But
It looks like he
he's
does. But
he's
they
in
won't
big
be too
trouble.
combat effective otherwise.
He's in big trouble if those Guardians decide to engage now, because one micro mistake will mean the loss of the Slugger squad.
Simultaneously, we have two Shooter Boy squads moving up the middle of the map to attack the power node on the south side.
A very nice tactic, although I have to note that this power farm wasn't completely built up yet. And I do not know why, because Viat is just drowning in requisition at this point. We'll have to note that, surprisingly, Uriel barely has any power, actually. So, he probably
Archon
used it to
Odium
get
did send in his Warlock, Warp Spider Exarch and managed to take out that Slugger Boy squad.
That's a very nice victory. That means he's now ahead in the race of units. The amount of units I have is equal. Very nice kiting of that War Boss using his Guardians while shooting at it with the Warp Spider Exarch. And he probably will lose this power farm, but it's not a big deal because he already is ahead with power and he has enough rag to actually rebuild it.
Also looks like he's losing that Guardian squad. Oh, probably won't be able to run through all those Shooter Boys.
It depends what his shooters disband. They didn't.
And they stopped firing, so they'll get out of there.
Range damage does less damage on retreating units, so probably wouldn't have wiped him anyway. Melee damage, on the other hand, does more damage. If they would have engaged in melee, that would have probably been better than anything else. Great going into that blood. That's
Not quite, nope. Almost a good skill shot, just missed it. Orcs did a good dodge.
Fiat still has to get
And
the hang
are
of
moving back up
those.
to cap that Vic point.
Fiat still has to get the hang of those movements for
Unfortunately,
compensating
it looks
for the
like Uriel's
movements.
got control of the map again. And Viet is probably not going to be able to pull out of that one quickly unless he can ghost cap some points.
Shuriken platform
He
coming
does
up.
not have the firepower to take him on directly.
Shuriken platform coming up might be is very useful in suppressing those double shooters, which Uriel tends to blob up a lot in fights. So that'll be very useful in Uriel's favor. Meanwhile, Viet is capping this eastern victory point. Not a lot's going on except for some ghost capping. Well, Viet's moving out again. Let's hope he micros this Shuriken platform well enough and doesn't just walk it straight into the enemy, like often happens with some people.
Alright, Warp Spider Exarch jumps in, he sets up the gun.
Moves
Nope,
up
he
the
moved
gun. Moves up the gun. Good choice, because they actually moved out of range. The Warp Spider Exarch is actually going to go down here, I think. Yes, it is going to go down.
Unfortunately, the Shuriken Catapult can only fire on one sector, and the other Shooter Boy squad will not be suppressed.
I must add that one being suppressed is in really big trouble. Now has to retreat and can focus on the other shooter squad, so did a good job there, although very nice job in using that ability on the Shuriken platform, although one problem is it barely does any damage, so we didn't really gain anything from it.
These Shooter Boys will walk away unscathed. Second squad, anyway. The first squad took some serious hits, only has 2 boys left and their knob, but at least the most expensive unit's still in there, so Uriel should not be harping for requisition.
Well, as I commented earlier, the knob will die last. Like, basically you have to wipe the entire squad before the knob will go down, which increases their survivability. So again,
Yet going in to cap the victory points while he has the chance.
I think those Guardians might be going for this power node here, or the requisition points, but I would recommend power node, because Fiat already has enough requisition, really. And here we see an Orc force moving towards Viat. I have to note, Uriel is actually moving to tier 2, something I've missed there, and it's ahead of Viat in that regard, mostly because Viat's power farm was destroyed, and he's not rebuilding it despite having so much requisition. I'm not sure what's going on there.
Now he's rebuilding it. He's got both nodes back up again.
Yeah, but it can
Although,
hold up to 3 generators, so
This is true.
nice suppression going
Uriel,
on
on the
here.
other hand, has 2 full power farms and is going to be well ahead in its way towards tier 3 and vehicles. Warboss rushes the Shuriken Catapult, preventing it from doing its duty.
I'm not sure why it wasn't supported up by the Guardians or and is forced to retreat. Shooter boys are being engaged in melee by the warp spider, which is just teleporting around.
Odium making good use of fleet of foot to kite the war boss.
Very nice instead of retreating. Although he does seem to neglect the guardians up to the east in that power node. And they are now idle,
Yeah,
they're not doing
there,
anything.
yes. Now he's moving. While he upgrades the power node. Warp Spider Exarch, and they're pushing against the Shooter Boys.
Uriel already going tier 3, that is how far ahead he. Although he's been fighting with tier 1 units all this time, so I don't think Viet expects this. But I'm not sure if he actually managed to press the advantage. He didn't use tier 2 to press the advantage, and meanwhile...
Odium now going for tier 2. Probably to close the gap, but given that Uriel's already at tier 3, or, well, going to be at tier 3 by the time he reaches tier 2, he's going to be well behind with... Whoa!
Surprisingly,
Uriel tier 3 to
push
out more Shooter Boys.
He finished tier 3 and just building Shooter Boys.
Oh, yes, he did. That was on my screen. My screen skipped it for some reason. It showed only halfway tier 3, then showed him making a new unit.
Yeah, he is... No! Tier 3's... Yeah, he did cancel tier 3.
He did. Aha! He apparently wanted to get more Shooter Boys out for this conflict.
Yeah. The indicator is a bit weird because it shows that tier 3... Yeah, whatever.
It only shows that because it's being researched. So, Viet's taking back control of the map, although unfortunately his Warp Spider Exarch is getting soloed. When the War Boss with support from his gunner.
Yeah, that Warp Spider Exarch is down. They're both an equal level, but Odium has not actually upgraded his Warp Spider Exarch.
Odium is making good work on rebuilding his power farm. He still has a lot of requisition and could buy more, but he's apparently holding on it for something.
Not sure what, because I don't really know any unit that takes as much as the... Weird grenade going off there, I'm not sure what he wants to do, but it's not very effective against Soul Model unit. One shooter squad might actually be getting wiped here. No.
Grenades, particularly effective against the ground.
And this platform's getting kited, or getting flanked by the shooters.
And he's pulling out.
That's a wise decision there. Stop while you're ahead. Meanwhile, Uriel having to go step to eastern victory point again. Surprisingly few battles at this eastern victory point, even though it's between
running
two
for
bases.
a Wraith Lord.
That might be a nice choice here, although I'm not sure if Uriel will get. He's probably not going to get it because he's too busy with reinforcing and his upkeep is too high on his units, because triple shooters do tend to drain your requisition income. But if he goes Nobs, they will most definitely beat this Wraith Lord. But keep in mind, Viet does not know what tier Uriel is in because he has only shown tier 1 units, including the Shooter Nob, which is also just a tier 1 unit. A tier 1 upgrade, rather.
Wraith Lord online. Uriel, still standing by before purchasing any more units, is now building a looted tank.
I must say, though, despite... compared to the previous match, Archon Odium is doing a lot better. Mostly because he's actually managed to drain requisition from his opponent by bleeding the squads.
Also, not losing much in his squads throughout the match. He did lose one Guardian squad, but that was the extent of his losses, as opposed to multiple Banshee squads in the previous match.
We will see how he upgrades his Wraith Lord with a Bright Lance or a Shuriken. Of course, we would recommend Bright Lance because he should loot the tank, but he doesn't know this.
Given that he's only seen enemy infantry, he isn't sure what tier the enemy's at, he's likely going to go Shuriken Cannon.
The guys are shooters club, yes, then he still has the melee to damage them, and the Warp Spider Exarch is pretty good at disabling vehicles. So, we will see how it goes, and we'll see what he chooses to do.
Viet has control of 2 victory control points, and it's winning that out. It looks like Uriel's going to go ahead and push towards the victory points in the center with the tank, while sending his infantry to cap the eastern node.
I'm not sure why he's setting up his Shuriken platform like this. Maybe if he chooses to just run into it, but...
Yet, realizing that Guardians versus Looted Tank doesn't work, pulls out.
And he's upgrading his Wraith Lord with a Bright Lance to be more effective against vehicles.
He does see that tank coming. Tank's going after his power farm, but here comes the Wraith Lord, almost certainly going to win that fight. Both the tank and the Wraith Lord are tier 1. I mean tier 1, level 1. Oh, might want to move that Wraith Lord.
No, he's using an explosive.
Armor.
He's using an explosive shot, which is meant to be used against infantry and such. With the tank not being that great of a damage dealer against other vehicles, is probably not going to do great against the Wraith Lord.
But yet, taking the advantage and setting up his shuriken weapon,
But getting
is now being flanked by the war boss.
The Looted Tank seems to be in trouble with the Wraith Lord just chasing it down and him getting stuck on through.
Unfortunately, he's pressing too hard with the Wraith Lord and will be surrounded very shortly.
This war boss has the capability of taking down the Wraith Lord due to his anti-vehicle weaponry, although it's being
But
focused
he's
out
not
by
going
Guardian.
to walk through all the shuriken.
No, he's not. Getting away with 10 HP.
Yet,